in the 9 provinces of the continent thanks to abundance of spiritual energy. This was the best time to cultivate immortality. Seizing the opportunity, Eastern cultivators, Western magicians, and demon races used in a golden era of cultivation. Following suit, the Great Zhou Empire set a talent market, allowing major sects to recruit more skilled individuals who could become cultivators. Then we see a man who is speaking. Wow, you are currently at the 3rd stage of the Qi refinement realm, possess extraordinary dual spiritual roots, and wire a top-tier divine artifact. Are you sure you are not a descendant of a prestigious and righteous sect? With such exceptional talent, you can definitely overcome the tribulation within 10 years. And after listening to his words, another man says, not at all. You're too kind with your praise. And he is thinking, I have never heard of this enlightening valley before, but it seems to be quite high profile. It looks down even on people with top-grade talent. It might be some kind of reclusive sect that does not care about fame, but I don't believe they would look down on someone like me who has peerless double spiritual roots. But the man says, not qualified? And hearing this, another man is shocked, and he says, weeping, it must be because my cultivation level is too low that you didn't choose me. Oh, come back in 3 years to join your sect. Then the man behind him says, even peerless double spiritual roots were rejected. It seems we are all unqualified in the eyes of the big shot. And the third man says, what kind of background does this enlightening valley have? It can't be some kind of reclusive sect, right? After this we know about this man. And that is, the eldest disciple of the enlightening valley, Feng Qiyu. And Feng Qiyu is speaking, so many people have applied, but not a single one of them is qualified. It's really a generation worse than the last. Then Feng Qiyu hears some voice. And when he looks at the front, 2 people together are bullying a girl. And those people are speaking, do you think you can join a sect and cultivate with your talent? That's hilarious. Get lost. The Great Zhou Empire doesn't need trash like you. And this girl's name is Lingling. And she is speaking, except for the 7 Sects Alliance, other sects don't limit their recruitment based on talent and aptitude. Why can't I try? Besides, there are many seniors in the history of cultivation who successfully broke through the tribulation with the same aptitude as mine. Don't look down on me. But the man says, you're quite stubborn. And the man holds Lingling's hands vigorously, due to which Lingling is hurting. And he is speaking, but I must admit you have some charm. How about you have some fun with me? And I'll help you join the Heavenly Insight Pavilion. And Lingling is speaking to the man to stay away. And that man is very upset by Lingling. And he is speaking, TSK. Little girl, you don't know what's God for you. And seeing the bully, the crowd is speaking, the Heavenly Insight Pavilion is one of the 7 Sects Alliance. It's not something to be taken lightly. It'd be better if we don't get involved. It's better to avoid unnecessary trouble, let's leave. And then Feng Qiyu attacks him with his fan, due to which the man's hand is released from Lingling. And Feng Qiyu comes in front of Lingling. And Lingling is surprised to see him. And the bullying are speaking, where did this punk come from, daring to lay hands on someone from our Heavenly Insight Pavilion? And they have taken out their weapons. But Feng Qiyu does not mind and he says, a bunch of foolish idiots. And Feng Qiyu attacks those people with the fan, due to which people get very hurt. And seeing Feng Qiyu's action, some people are speaking, wow, the senior has taken action. As expected, the big shot from the hidden sect dared to intervene and teach a lesson to someone from the Heavenly Insight Pavilion. And Lingling is happy to hear the words of those people. And she is speaking, a hidden sect? So cool. Then Lingling goes to Feng Qiyu. And greeting Feng Qiyu says, I, Lingling, would like to thank you, my benefactor. And Feng Qiyu tells him, oh, it was just a small gesture. And then Feng Qiyu notices something. And he says, good for note's spiritual root. And Feng Qiyu gets very shocked, and he says, you actually have a god-for-nothing spiritual root? And Lingling is saying yes. Then Feng Qiyu holds Lingling's hand, and tells him, that's great. Come to Enlightening Valley with me and be my junior sister. 5 days off a week, free food and accommodation, 5 types of insurance, 1 pension, and the remuneration is generalized. And listening to Feng Qingyue's words, the crowd is very surprised, and they are speaking. The big boss was looking for a god-for-nothing spiritual root? As expected, thoughts of a big shot from some hidden sect beyond our understanding, and hearing the crowd, Feng Qingyue is speaking. What's wrong with a good-for-note spiritual root? It's the incompetence of the master that they can't train such a talent. Rest assured, if you enter my enlightening valley, I will definitely make you a peerless existence in the world. And Lingling becomes very happy to hear this, and she says, Lingling is willing to become a disciple of Enlightening Valley. Then Feng Qingyue is speaking to Lingling, time waits for none, I'll take you back to the valley right away. Finally, I managed to deceive someone. I've found a good-for-nothing spiritual root company for the second brother, and she's even a cute little sister. He will surely be thrilled. And Lingling says I will work hard and not disappoint the expectations of my benefactor. After this the scene shifts and we see Enlightening Valley. And Feng Qingyue brings Lingling near a house, and says since our master is traveling, we can skip the rituals of becoming a disciple. Let me introduce you to someone first. And Lingling says, is this Enlightening Valley? And Lingling is thinking of looking at the courtyard, the hidden sect mentioned by other cultivators. Why does it look somewhat shabby and abandoned? And thinking that Lingling is a little surprised. Then Feng Qingyue feels his second brother, then he says, second brother, come out and meet the little martial sister I recruited as the new disciple of the Enlightening Valley. And when Lingling sees in front, she is surprised to be a very handsome man in front of her. But this is Lingling's imagination. In Realty, Xiao Cheng is cooking the hen's head and eating. And Feng Qingyue is telling us this is our second brother, a skilled expert of this humble Enlightening Valley. And Lingling is thinking, what the dash? The difference between imagination and reality is enormous. Then Xiao Cheng tells both of them, we are having rabbit meat for dinner. Want some? And Feng Qingyue says, let's put the rabbits aside for now. This is Lingling, our little martial sister is just deceived our little martial sister I recruited. And Xiao Cheng says, I didn't ask you. Newcomer, wanna have a bite? But Lingling gets a little nervous looking at the hen's head, and she says, and no. I'm fine, thank you. And hearing this Xiao Cheng tells both of them, oh, then I'll go get a couple more. And both of them are surprised to hear Xiao Cheng's talk. And Lingling is thinking, hey, are you even listening to what people are saying? And Feng Qingyue is speaking, second brother is the strongest person in Enlightening Valley. He may have a peculiar personality, but he's a good person. You should stick with him in the future. And as soon as Lingling hears this thing, she shocks a lot, and she says, the strongest? But second brother doesn't have a trace of spiritual energy. Clearly, he's just a mortal. But then Feng Qingyue closes Lingling's mouth. And slowly says in his ear, little martial sister, you must speak recklessly. It would lead to big trouble. And then Feng Qingyue noticed something. And he removes Lingling from that place. And someone has attacked them. And the one who has attacked is speaking, which puny bastard dared to hit my grandson? And an old man has come to this place. And he is a man, Sun Fang, nascent soul realm, an elder of the Heavenly Insight Pavilion. And the old man is saying that the one who has attacked my grandson came out. And seeing the man, Feng Qingyue is speaking, oh, I forgot that Yin Yang Li was sent by Xiao Qing to refine pills. Otherwise, how cold these insignificant people enter. And Lingling is speaking, these guys are from the Heavenly Insight Pavilion. What do we do, senior brother? And Feng Qingyue gives an evil look, and he says, don't panic. And the man behind that old man, finger towards Feng Qingyue, says, seventh uncle. It's this bastard who hit me. And as soon as that old man hears this, he is thinking, I can't gauge this person's cultivation. Could it be higher than mine? It'd be better to test it out first. And now that old man is ready to fight with Feng Qingyue. And he is speaking, how dare you insult the disciples of the Heavenly Insight Pavilion? I must teach you a lesson today. But Feng Qingyue does not mind the words of that old man. He is smiling, and then there is an attack on the hand of that old man. And that attack has injured the old man's hand very much. And seeing this, that old man is very surprised. And at the same time his weapon falls down. And seeing this, the old man is speaking, "Who is this bastard? Who is sneaking up on me?" And Lingling is also surprised, and she is thinking, "I didn't see senior brother making a move. Could it be?" And then Xiaoqing entered at that place. The one who looks like this is very angry. And he is releasing his power, and he is speaking, "Was you the one who kicked the stove?" And as soon as he sees the old man Xiaoqing, he is surprised. And he is speaking, "Mortal? How could a mere mortal harm me? Impossible, this is impossible." And then suddenly Xiaoqing reaches close to that old man. After feeling, the old man is very surprised. And he is thinking, "What's with his speed?" And Xiaoqing tells that old man, "So you look down on mortals, huh?" And seeing Xiaoqing's speed, the eyes of that old man started coming out. And he is thinking, "Isn't he just a mortal?" And Xiaoqing has hit a punch on the stomach of that old man. And due to that punch, the old man flies into the air. Seeing the grandson of that old man gets very nervous. And Lingling is very happy to see all these things. And she is speaking, "Is this the true strength of the second brother?" And Feng Qingyu smilingly says he is said to be the strongest in the Enlightening Valley. Remember this lesson. You must never look down on mortals. And Feng Qingyu is speaking, "How dare you, a mere nascent soul cultivator, look down on mortals? Even if you were in the tribulation transcendence realm, I would have still given you a taste of my power." And we know about Xiaoqing that he is the second senior brother of the Enlightening Valley, son Xiaoqing. Constitution, no spiritual roots. Warning, absolutely detests discrimination against mortals. Xiaoqing had a lucky encounter as soon as he transmigrated to the cultivation world. After being brought back to Enlightening Valley by Master Li Changxing, he began his dream journey of cultivating immortality and becoming a proud, soaring dragon. And finally, it's my turn to become the Dragon King. However, dreams are beautiful, but reality can be harsh. He lacked bloodline and talent and didn't even have any system cheat. What's even worse was that he didn't even have spiritual roots. Thus, unable to cultivate, Xiaoqing could only watch his senior brothers enter the ranks of cultivators, while he could only play with a dog. But one day, even that dog betrayed him. "Young man, I have attained Tao and become an immortal." "I am no longer a mortal." Xiaoqing remained an ordinary human, unable to cultivate. However, he was still pretty strong. "You don't even have spiritual roots. You're not qualified to be my second senior brother." Robert, an origin-returned cultivator, once brandished his ancestral sword to pressure him. In the end, the sword made from celestial iron was easily shattered by Xiaoqing. And all those who insulted the sect and mortals without considering the consequences fell under his bamboo staff. "Hey, don't look down on mortals, or this will be your fate." After this we see that old man, who is very surprised to see the power of Xiaoqing, and he is thinking, "How can a mere mortal have such great strength? Damn it! I have never been so humiliated." Then that old man is going to use some kind of technique. And he is saying, "You scoundrel! I was momentarily careless, which give you an opportunity." And that old man is about to use the Heavenly Insight Azure Wolf Devour technique on Xiaoqing. And a huge wolf comes behind him. And when Lingling sees that technique, she gets very nervous. And she says, "The Azure the Wolf Devours is the greatest technique of the Heavenly Insight Pavilion. Second senior brother, be careful." But Feng Qingyu asks Lingling not to panic. And he says, "Don't worry. Your second senior brother has dealt with this situation numerous times." And that old man is saying, "Today, I will show you the vast difference between nascent soul and your mortal flesh." And that old man attacks Xiaoqing. But it doesn't make any difference to Xiaoqing. He is ready to destroy that attack, and he is saying, "A wolf? Clearly it's just a mad dog that barks without reason." And Xiaoqing would have destroyed that attack very easily. And he has reached near that old man to attack him. And when the old man sees that Xiaoqing is about to attack him, he becomes very nervous. And with just one attack from Xiaoqing, the old man's tooth breaks, and his nose starts bleeding. And Xiaoqing is saying, "The final move, the dog beating staff technique, what was it again?" And the old man is saying nervously, How can a mortal break through the techniques of a cultivator? And then Xiaoqing probably remembers something. And he attacks directly again. And he says, "Dogs not allowed." And Lingling gets very scared after seeing such dangerous power of Xiaoqing. And she is saying, "Second senior brother is just a mortal, how can he be so strong? If only I could be like him." And as soon as Xiaoqing hears this, he turns back, giving a menacing look. And Feng Qiyu gets scared seeing this. And he shuts Lingling's mouth. And he says, "Junior sister. Didn't I tell you not to mention that in front of him?" And Feng Qiyu quickly goes to Xiaoqing, and says to him, "Second junior brother. Stay calm. It's been less than half an hour since junior sister started her cultivation journey. She's still young and doesn't understand things." And Xiaoqing is staring at Lingling. Then Xiaoqing gives a bag to Lingling, and he says, "Go feed the pigeons." And as soon as Feng Qiyu hears this, he comes to life. And he sighs with relief, "Phew, that was scary." And Lingling gets confused seeing her bag. Then Xiaoqing turns back and says to Lingling, "Hey, newcomer. Mortals can still become strong. Don't look down on mortals." And Lingling gets surprised after listening to Xiaoqing. Then she says yes. And Xiaoqing starts leaving from that place. And Lingling is thinking, "I don't look down on mortals, I just hope to become as powerful as you." Then Feng Qiyu laughingly says to Lingling, "Junior sister, let's go. I'll take you to the pigeon coop." And Lingling says, "By the way, senior brother, in the cultivation world, don't we usually use communication symbols and transmission papers to communicate? Why does the Enlightening Valley still use carrier pigeons?" So Feng Qiyu whispers in Lingling's ear, and she says, "Your second senior brother can't use communication symbols." And as soon as Feng Qiyu tells this to Lingling, then there is an attack on Feng Qiyu. And this attacker is Xiaoqing. And he is saying to Feng Qiyu, "Feng Qiyu, don't think I can't hear you talking behind my back." And Feng Qiyu removes those chopsticks and says, "Ahem, anyway, if you ever receive any pigeon letters, just give them directly to your second senior brother." And Lingling nervously says to Feng Qiyu, "Senior brother, you're bleeding." But Feng Qiyu tells Lingling, "No worries. It's just a life-threatening injury. I'm used to it." After this the scene shifts. And Xiaoqing would have come to a different place. And there is a robotic lady at that place. And she looks at Xiaoqing and says, "I've been waiting for you for so long." And as soon as Xiaoqing hears this, he becomes very happy. And he starts taking off his clothes, and says to that robotic lady, "Well, here I am. We shouldn't delay any longer. Let's get started quickly." Then we see that Xiaoqing is having fun behind the curtain. And that robotic lady is massaging Xiaoqing. And Xiaoqing is saying, "Ah, this feels so good. Today's position and speed have touched my heart deeply. As expected, only you truly understand me." Then we are told about this robotic lady. Name, 618, Lu Yaba. Identity, 5th Elder of Enlightening Valley. Race, the big shot behind the screen surely knows. Gender unknown? And Lu Yaba says, "It's not that I understand you. It's just that neither of us can cultivate." And hearing this, Xiaoqing says, "Hey, don't reveal what you figured out." Lu Yaba then transforms her robotic arm into a small hammer. Then she says, "Based on data sample analysis, if you want to cultivate, you need to undergo at least 9,981 cycles of lightning tribulations, 7,749 cycles of bone tempering, and hundreds of cycles of heavenly fire quenching. My calculation program believes it is not worth the pain in exchange for the opportunity to become an immortal. Your current life is peaceful and comfortable. Why do you insist on seeking discomfort for yourself?" And Xiaoqing says, "Because I want to ascend and achieve immortality, to live forever and eat spicy rabbits for a lifetime." Then Lu Yaba says, "Spicy rabbits are indeed delicious." And Xiaoqing is thinking, why can they cultivate immortality while I can't? And then someone opens the door of that room, and comes straight inside. And that is Lingling. And he has a letter in his hand. And she is saying, "Second senior brother, here's a letter for you." But as soon as Lingling sees the scene in front, she gets very shocked, because Xiaoqing is taking a massage, and Lu Xiaoba is sitting on top of Xiaoqing. And seeing this, Lingling starts feeling shy. And she says, "Sorry for the interruption. I'll leave now." And as soon as Lu Xiaoba sees Lingling, she starts analyzing her. And she says, "Wait a moment, you have such a splendid body. Why don't you cultivate with us and enjoy the ultimate pleasure together?" And as soon as Lingling sees Lu Xiaoba's face, she gets very scared. And she calls Lu Xiaoba a ghost. And Lingling is thinking, I never expected the second senior brother to have such a peculiar preference. Then Lingling starts running away from that place. But Xiaoqing stops him and says, "Stop it, I mean stop thinking that way. You're overthinking it." And after some time, Xiaoqing tells Lingling about Lu Xiaoba, and he says, their name is 618. Also known as Lu Xiaoba, they are a disciple of Enlightening Valley and your fifth senior sister. No, that's not right. Senior brother, that's not right either. And hearing this, Lingling gets surprised. She says, "Is this senior brother?" So Xiaoqing tells Lingling, "Senior brother or senior sister, either is fine, whatever you prefer. Anyway, just consider them someone who practiced a special technique, which is why they look like this. They are not some kind of monster or demon." Then Lingling says, "In all my years in the Great Zhou Kingdom, I've never seen anyone like the fifth senior sister. Could it be the secret art of the legendary Southern Barbarian Kingdom?" And Xiaoqing says, "Just consider it that way." And he's thinking, it's really hard to explain pronouns to people from ancient times. Then Lu Xiaoba goes to Lingling, and tells her, "I was giving the second senior brother a massage therapy earlier. It helps to unblock the meridians and invigorate the muscles and bones. Would you like to give it a try?" Then Lu Xiaoba starts massaging Lingling with her robotic hands, due to which Lingling feels orgasm. And she's thinking, so, this is a skill that the fifth senior sister has cultivated. How fascinating! And after some time, Lingling's condition becomes very strange, and she gives the letter to Xiaoqing and says, "So, I can't believe there exists this kind of cultivation method. By the way, second senior brother, don't forget to read the letter." And as soon as Xiaoqing is about to open that letter, his face becomes strange. And he says, "Why is it from this idiot again? Every time he sends a letter, it's never good news." And it is written in that letter, "Second senior brother, here's the letter." It says, "I have received your previous correspondence. I am deeply touched by your friendship and affection. The days we spent together in Enlightening Valley are still vivid in my mind. Yesterday's excursion feels like it happened just before my eyes, making me worry about Enlightening the Valley's well-being. How are the flowers, plants, cats, and dogs in the valley? I wonder how you and my senior brothers are doing." After reading what Xiaoqing says, he really knows how to write flower words. And Xiaoqing adds, "Recently, I came across an ancient classic having a method of reshaping one's spiritual roots. It is profound and extraordinary, filled with mysteries. However, as the saying goes, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Coincidentally, I need some help with them 4 symbols of the auspicious formation ceremony." And Lingling is asking Xiaoqing, the second senior brother, who sent a letter? And Xiaoqing is reading, "I hope the second senior brother can lend a helping hand and assist me in this urgent matter." And Xiaoqing reads that letter and says, "Here we go again. I smell something fishy whenever I receive a letter from him." Then Lu Xiaoba tells Lingling, "The person Xu Xiaoqing is referring to is your sixth senior brother, Bai Lei. He is not in Enlightening Valley but working in the 6th Division of the Supervision Bureau." Salmon gets surprised after hearing this, then she says, "Wow, the Supervision Bureau. Isn't that the department of the Great Zhou Empire dedicated to supervising and managing cultivators and supernatural beings? Senior brother Feng didn't lie to me. Enlightening Valley is indeed a place of hidden talents. I must learn well from senior brothers and sisters." And Xiaoqing says, "You better stay away from Bai Lei. Getting involved with him always leads to trouble. Instead of dealing with him, focus on yours cultivation." And Lingling is saying to Xiaoqing, "Then, second senior brother, please begin." And Xiaoqing points his finger at Lingling and says, "Begin what?" So Lingling says, "My cultivation. You are my mentor. Although you act like an A***, you effortlessly defeated a nascent soul stage cultivator. I have never seen anyone as strong as you. You must have a special cultivation method, right? But Zhaoqing says, no, not really. And Lingling says, even though I have a good-for-nothing spiritual root and can't cultivate in the normal way, if you guide me, I'm sure I can find a path of cultivation that suits me. But Zhaoqing is telling Lingling, there is no such thing. Why don't you believe what others say? And Lingling is insisting, and she is saying, I want to become as strong as you. Please teach me the path to becoming stronger, senior brother. And Liu Yaba tells Lingling, according to the data, the second senior brother has made significant achievements in guiding others to break through their limitations. And hearing this, Zhaoqing says, what? Nonsense, are you yapping? And Lingling says, is it true? Then Liu Yaba tells both of them, the data shows that after being guided by Xu Shaoqing, third senior brother advanced from the Foundation Establishment realm to the Origin Return realm. Thanks to the guidance of Xu Shaoqing, the fourth senior brother ascended from the Qi Refinement realm to the Nascent Soul realm. Furthermore, the eldest brother was guided by Xu Shaoqing all the way to the Tribulation Transcendence realm. Even the ninth junior brother, who had the worst talent, reached the peak of Foundation Establishment realm with Xu Shaoqing's help. And after listening to all these things, Lingling is saying, these are actual sample data and can be considered reliable. Wow! Second senior brother is so amazing. Second senior brother. Please, I beg of you. Guide me, and help me start cultivating. And listening to Lingling, Zhaoqing is thinking, if I guide you and you also ascend, wouldn't the entire sect be left with only me, a lonely old person who cannot cultivate? Forget it. Let's first ask about her cultivation goals. Maybe we can adapt her with another approach. Wearing a righteous expression. Then Zhaoqing says, while cultivating immortality, one must first comprehend their Tao heart. What is yours? Purpose to cultivate immortality? And hearing this, Lingling becomes a little sad, and she says, I was born with a good-for-nothing spiritual root. Ever since my childhood, I have been looked down upon by others and frequently bullied. Even those scoundrels from the Heavenly Insight Pavilion mocked my constitution. So, I want to become stronger. I want to prove that I am not weak. And after listening to her words, Zhaoqing tells her, do you want to become stronger to prove yourself or to seek revenge on those who once bullied you? And as soon as Lingling hears this, she gets a little nervous. But Zhaoqing insists, if you can't even decipher your true intentions, does it matter whether you have an exceptional heavenly tier spiritual root? You don't even have the ability to resist. Ultimately, you are another weak and incapable trash. What guidance does a trash like you need? And after listening to Zhaoqing, Lingling starts remembering how she is bullied. And who all used to bully him? Then she screams and says, it's not like that. I'm not a waste. I am, please don't insult me. And Zhaoqing is thinking, oh no, did her blood pressure skyrocket just from a little provocation? Then Lingling is emanating a lot of energy from within herself. And she is saying, I just want to seek revenge on them. That's all. And seeing Lingling, Zhaoqing is thinking, her blood pressure is rising, and her heart rate is increasing. Qi and blood are also circulating rapidly throughout the body, passing through 7 primary acupoints. But some of her meridians are blocked, so 3 acupoints remain untouched. And Lingling directly attacks Zhaoqing. And she says, yes, I am weak and incapable, but in this world where cultivation is revered. As a person with a crippled spiritual root, what can I do to resist? But Zhaoqing punches Lingling in the stomach, and the power of that punch is very high, due to which Lingling hits the wall, and she falls on the ground. And Zhaoqing is thinking, whether she can cultivate or not depends on her own destiny. Then Liu Yaba says to Zhaoqing, Shaoqing, it seems like you used too much force. Junior sister fainted. And hearing this, Zhaoqing gets a little nervous, and he says, no way. I had good control over my strength. But then Lingling opens her eyes, and energy is flowing from inside her. His body is drenched with sweat. And she's thinking, my spiritual power is surging? I feel a warm current flowing through my body, nourishing my 5 organs and 6 viscera. I've never felt my meridians so unobstructed before. This warm current is breaking through my body layer by layer. And then Lingling makes a breakthrough. That to the 5th stage of Qi and refinement. And seeing this, Liu Yaba says to Zhao Cheng, "Congratulations, Xu Shaoqing, you've set a new record for guiding others." But Zhao Cheng is very confused. And he's thinking, damn, I accidentally exercised too much force. I only intended to help her clear her meridians. It wasn't meant to help her break through. And Lingling is very surprised, but she is also happy. And she is saying, "Wow, actually had a breakthrough. What just happened?" And Liu Yaba is saying, "While massaging you, I scanned your meridians and found that they were innately blocked, restricting the circulation of true qi throughout your body. Xu Shaoqing must have noticed this as well, so deliberately provoked you with words to release the stagnant qi. He then stimulated your dantian to help clear the meridians, allowing your true qi to flow freely." And Lingling says to Zhao Cheng, "I'm sorry, I thought." But Zhao Cheng tells Lingling, "Cut it. Saying more would be overly sentimental. You must remember, the rule of Enlightening Valley is, if others don't provoke us, we won't provoke them. But if someone provokes us, we'll eradicate them completely. If someone bullies you in their future, fight back like you did today. Until he never dares to bully you again in this lifetime, the next lifetime, or even in the next of the next lifetime. Do you understand?" And Lingling becomes happy after hearing this, and she says to Zhao Cheng, "And understand. Well then, second senior brother, can you guide me once again?" But Zhao Cheng gets angry and tells Lingling, "Go play." And Lingling is thinking, the second senior brother's temperament is really peculiar. Sometimes, he's enthusiastic, other times, he's cold and distant. But, the second senior brother seems to be a truly extraordinary person. Maybe if I receive guidance from my second senior brother again, I can immediately advance to the Foundation Establishment realm. Perhaps Enlightening Valley can truly help me achieve my cultivation dreams. And Lingling leaves that place. On the other hand, Liu Yaba is telling Zhao Cheng, "Well done. Thanks to you, my junior sister broke through so quickly." And Zhao Cheng says, "Yeah, it's great, I guess." But Zhao Cheng starts crying after seeing Liu Yaba, and he says, "No, what's so great about it? Why? How could a single punch makes her reach the 5th level of the Qi refinement realm? Why am I the only one who can't cultivate?" And Liu Yaba is saying to Zhao Cheng, "Your constitution is poor. Why don't you try mechanical ascension?" Next day, we see that there is an explosion at one place, hearing which Lingling wonders, is it an earthquake? Then we see 2 boys. And a boy is saying, "It's all your fault. I told you to add 3 portions, but you insisted on adding 5 portions. Now it exploded. The second senior uncle gave us a bunch of precious medicinal materials for alchemy, and now they're all gone because of the explosion. He'll definitely hang us up and beat us for 3 days and nights without stopping." And that boy happens to be Yang Li, Feng Qingyue's eldest disciple. And that other guy happens to be Ying Li, Feng Qingyue's second disciple. And he is saying, "It's your fault." Just then Lingling comes to both of them, because of which the black-haired boy gets scared. And Lingling is saying to both of them, "Are you practicing alchemy or making gunpowder?" So the black-haired boy says, "Huh? Who is this? I think I saw them yesterday." And the white-haired boy says, "That's the new junior that Master tricked into joining yesterday." And Lingling is thinking, tricked? What does he mean? Then Lingling says to both of them, "You guys are the disciples of the eldest senior brother, right?" "I'm sure, Lingling. Were you practicing alchemy?" So the black-haired boy says, "Yes, but we failed. We will be in big trouble if the second senior uncle finds out." Then the white-haired boy says, "Why don't you give it a try?" But the black-haired boy yells, "What nonsense are you talking about? We only have 1 batch of ingredients left. If we fail again, we're truly doomed." But the white-haired boy says, "That's why I asked her to help." And the black-haired boy says, "Oh yeah, the newbie protection period." And he takes out some herbs, then he says to Lingling, "It's all up to you." And Lingling is saying, looking at that formula, "Well then, I'll give it a try." And Lingling starts making pills. And she puts her spiritual power into the furnace. And both those boys are sitting and watching. Half an hour later. It is ready in the form of a pill. And seeing this, both are very shocked. And the black-haired boy is saying, "Wow, amazing! I've never seen such a golden light while practicing alchemy. This time, it will definitely work." And Lingling is very surprising. And she is saying, "Is it a success already? This is my first time practicing alchemy, so practice alchemy is this." And as soon as Lingling opens the lid of that furnace, they all become very shocked and are unable to say anything. And the black-haired boy gets very shocked. And he is shouting, "Oh no! Even the last batch of medicinal ingredients got ruined. We're truly doomed now." And the white-haired boy points towards Lingling and says, "But she is the one who did it." Just then Zhao Chun comes to that place, and he says, "Did you guys blow up my alchemy room again?" And both the boys point towards Lingling. And Lingling is not saying anything, and Lingling has taken that pill in her hands. And Zhao Chun would have taken that pill, and is watching him carefully. Then he says, "Did you make it?" So Lingling says yes. And both those boys are saying, "Every crime has a mastermind, and everyone debt has its creditor. If you want to blame someone, blame her." And Lingling is very disappointed, and she is saying, "I just wanted to help." And as soon as Zhao Chun blows on that pill, the pill becomes golden in color. Seeing this, both the boys become very happy. And he is saying, "Wow! It's actually a heaven-grade pill." And Lingling becomes very happy after seeing that pill, and she says, "So it was a success." Zhao Chun also becomes very happy. And he shows it to Lingling and says, "You have good character." And Lingling gets very surprised to see such behavior of Zhao Chun. And she is thinking, what does character have to do with it? But Zhao Chun is thinking, others may think that alchemy relies on experience or fire control, but it actually depends on one's character. Just like asceticism and breakthroughs, cultivating immortality also requires good character. But what's important is, this girl can already refine a heaven-grade qi refining pill at the 5th level of qi refinement. Even Lao Wu, the king of dark cuisines, couldn't produce such a pure heaven-grade pill. Could it be that our enlightening valley really got lucky? My super qi condensation, the pill will definitely be within reach. Then Zhao Chun takes out a formula from him, and he gives that formula to Lingling. And tell him, "Let's refine another batch of elixirs according to this formula." And Lingling also agrees to this. Then she starts refining the pill from that formula. Then Zhao Chun gives a coffee to Lingling, seeing which Lingling gets very surprised, and she says, "What is this? Things?" And Zhao Chun is thinking, she can even brew modern creations like instant coffee. It seems she truly is a prodigy in alchemy. In that case, we should properly train and guide her. And Zhao Chun says to Lingling, "Junior sister, let's go." And Lingling asks, "Where are we going, senior brother?" So Zhao Chun makes an evil look, and he says to Lingling, "Come and help me cultivate immortality." And hearing this, Lingling screams. And both the boys are praying, and they are saying, "Hope everything goes well." Upon learning that Lingling had an innate talent for alchemy, Xu Shaoqing began obsessively supervising her alchemy practice. "Keep going. Put in all your effort in alchemy. Senior brother's ascension depends on you." And Lingling is hiding from Zhao Chun. And she's thinking, "You can't see me. You can't see me." But still Zhao Chun finds Lingling from nowhere. And he says, "Junior sister, you're here. Come with me to practice." And even when Lingling is taking a bath, Zhao Chun comes near Lingling and starts looking at it from the terrace. And tells her, "Junior sister, don't slack off. Senior brother's super qi refinement pill relies on you." And Lingling is refining a lot of pills, due to which she is very tired. And a week passes like this. Xu Shaoqing, as the male lead, continued exploiting and freeloading on others, which was truly despicable. Eating so much and yet unable to cultivate, he was simply plundering resources without humanity. Don't think I won't hate you just because you're the narrator. After this the scene shifts and we see Supervision Bureau Bailet's office. And Bailet is saying, "Second brother, don't think I can't do anything to you. My title as the 6th brother wasn't earned for nothing. Sigh, the peaceful and harmonious days are coming to an end. And Bai Lei has sent a letter in the enlightening valley. And we see Zhao Qing, who is cooking meat. And Feng Qingyu is saying, it's been a week since the junior sister came to Enlightening Valley, but it hasn't been an easy journey. At the beginning, she was startled every day, but now she is accommodated to chaotic days here. During this time, she has been diligently cultivating. Although her progress is slow, she has improved significantly compared to her previous period of having weak spiritual roots. By the way, the pills she refines good effects. They can help people gather qi, concentrate their minds, and even break through their realms. Second junior brother, have you tried them? And Zhao Qing is getting very angry after listening to Feng Qingyu's words. And Feng Qingyu also feels this way. And he gets nervous, then he's saying, I was asking if you've consumed her pills, don't hit me. If you hit me, I might ascend. But Feng Qingyu is thinking, oh my, I almost forgot that those pills are ineffective for the second junior brother and junior sister themselves. Just then Lingling comes running towards both of them. Seeing this, Feng Qingyu takes a sigh of relief. And Lingling is saying, first senior brother, second senior brother, good morning. And Zhao Qing says good morning to Lingling. And Lingling has brought a letter for Zhao Qing. Seeing which Zhao Qing says, a letter from the sixth? Just burn it. But Lingling teases Zhao Qing, then she says, but the sixth senior brother also sent me a letter. And Zhao Qing says, sent to you? What kind of trick is the sixth trying to pull? And Lingling takes that letter and starts reading it. Then she says, the sixth senior brother is inviting me to participate in the Four Symbols Auspicious Formation. The Four Symbols Auspicious Formation is a powerful array that suppresses terrifying entities. Due to its complication and unpredictable nature, various monsters occasionally emerge from within. Therefore, the Supervision Bureau often holds events to recruit volunteers willing to clear out and maintain the formation. And hearing this, Feng Qingyu is saying, although I informed all the junior disciples through letters that you joined our Enlightening Valley, how could the sixth senior brother ask you to participate in an important event like the Four Symbols Auspicious Formation? And Lingling says the sixth senior brother said that I am the hope of Enlightening Valley, and only I can uphold its reputation. And Zhao Qing says, little sister, be cautious of postal scams. Old big brother, teach the newcomer a lesson. And Feng Qingyu tells them, Bai Lei is the Enlightening Valley's sixth senior brother, the most arrogant second-generation official in history since the establishment of the Great Zhou Kingdom. As the only son of the Bai family, Bai Lei possesses a profound family background. He can be said to be one of the most powerful men in the Great Zhou Empire. Today, this young master is in a good mood. I'll be rewarding 1 billion ounces of gold. Later, out of boredom, he went to the Supervision Bureau and became the head of the 6th Division, busy handling various administrative cases daily. He still cares about his junior brothers. Sigh, it's been long since I last saw my junior brothers. Maybe I should return and bring them some good things while I'm at it. He has arrogantly taken out treasures and medicinal materials from unknown sources countless times, feeding them to his junior brothers under the name of good things and using this as a means to study those items' properties. These are good things from the city, specially brought for you to taste. He once poisoned Xu Shaoqing and even caused a series of catastrophic events, such as growing a snake's leg. Therefore he has now been blacklisted in the valley. And Lingling gets very nervous after hearing all these things. And she is saying, is he really that terrifying? Then Zhao Qing grabs Feng Qingyu's stick, and he says, by the way, isn't the 6th senior brother's home in that direction? I'll send him a gift to prevent him from deceiving naive underage girls. And Feng Qingyu gets very nervous seeing that Zhao Qing is about to throw his stick, so Feng Qingyu stops Zhao Qing from throwing that stick. And Feng Qingyu grabs his stick. And he says, if you send him that gift, it would be a feast for Bai Lei. Then Zhao Qing says to Lingling, all right, next time, I'll make him experience what it means to undergo mechanical ascension. Give me the letter. And Lingling says, in that case, should I go or not, senior brothers? And Feng Qingyu is saying, junior sister, don't worry for now. I think the 6th junior brother, and Zhao Qing says it's fine. Here is a sword manual. Study it well in the coming days. Later, I will forge a new sword for you. When you're away from home, you need a handy weapon. Then Ling Ling starts leaving that place, and she is saying, "Thank you, second senior brother. I will not disappoint your expectations and will bring glory to Enlightening Valley." And Zhao Qing says, "Go have fun." Then Feng Qingyu teasingly says to Zhao Qing, "Shao Qing, you're still considerate." And hearing this, Zhao Qing gets very angry, due to which he slaps Feng Qingyu. Then he says, "Later, write a letter to the 8th senior brother to see what the 6th senior brother is up to." And Zhao Qing is thinking, what if the 6th senior brother isn't deceiving me this time? What if he really found a way for me to cultivate? A few days later, Ling Ling is saying to Feng Qingyu and Liu Yaba, "First senior brother, 5th senior brother, I will definitely bring glory to them in Lightning Valley." And Feng Qingyu speaks Ling Ling very well. "This is the sword your second senior brother asked me to give you. He specifically advised that this sword has tremendous power and should not be used lightly." And Ling Ling is saying while taking that thing, "Wow, the second senior brother is really thoughtful." And Ling Ling is thinking, isn't the second senior brother coming to see me off? Then Ling Ling says to both of them, "Then I'll get going." And Feng Qingyu says, "Stay safe and come back home early, okay?" Then Ling Ling starts leaving that place. And seeing him leaving, Liu Yaba is saying, "My calculations show that, given Ling Ling's current abilities, she will only be among the first to be eliminated in the ritual of 4 symbols auspicious formation. It's impossible for her to come out on top." And Feng Qingyu says, "Don't worry, we have that guy." And after this the scene shifts. And we see 2 people, who are talking. And the first man is speaking. "The ritual of 4 symbols auspicious formation hasn't even started. But the deer we used as our mount was injured by a monster on the way here. What do we do now?" And the other man says, "If the elder finds out that we turned his mount into this state, he will definitely punish us severely." And both of these are from the Moonwatch Pavilion. Then there is some movement at that place, and some people are saying, "There, look at that person, is he riding a dog? What sect is this person from? The dog can even speak human language. This is truly surprising," and both of them also listen to all their talks. Then the first man looks back and sees Zhao Qing and his dog. And the name of this dog is Daqiang Xiao. And Zhao Qing's dog is saying, "Can you get off me? I'm a dog, not a horse. Don't you understand, you thick-headed spineless scum?" And Zhao Qing says, "Aren't you always saying that you have attained enlightenment and become an immortal? In that case, you should have an extraordinary aura and unyielding spirit. Being a mount is just perfect for you." And as soon as both of them see Zhao Qing's dog, their intentions get spoiled. And the first man is saying, "This dog can speak human language. It must have achieved enlightenment. Its inner core can be of great use." And the other man says, "In that case, it's easy." Then Zhao Qing's dog is saying, "At least I can fly, unlike someone who still can't even ride a sword." And as soon as Zhao Qing hears this, he gets angry. And he grabs her dog's ears. And he is saying to her, "What are you bark about? What is so impressive about flying?" And that dog is saying, "Stop pulling my ears, it hurts." Then someone says to Zhao Qing, "Brother, your dog is quite remarkable. Can you sell it to me? We are disciples of the Moonwatch Pavilion. We see that this dog has great potential. Instead of letting it have an uncertain fate, why not sell it to us? Let the dog cultivate and ascend to immortality alongside us." And the other guy says, "Yes, if this dog continues to follow you, it probably won't have a good outcome. We are willing to offer 20 spirit stones for your dog." And as soon as Zhao Qing hears this, he sees their deer, which belongs to both of them. And his condition is very bad. And Zhao Qing says to both of them, "So it turns out your mount was seriously injured, and you want to use my dog's inner core to repair it." Such a grandiose explanation. I almost believed it. And as soon as both of them hear this, they become very angry. And those people are saying, "No way, you really saw through it and exposed the truth?" And the other man says, "We are disciples of the Moonwatch Pavilion, one of the 7 great sections. What can you do if we take the life of your dog? Do you dare resist? But Zhao Qing is not making any difference to what those people say, and he is saying, why should I sacrifice my dog's life to heal your injured mount? The dog is mine, and I said I won't sell it. And hearing this, the man gets angry. And he starts summoning lightning in his hands. And he is saying, since you aren't accepting our offer, you need to be punished. And that man is about to use the moonlight seal on Zhao Qing. And seeing that formation, Zhao Qing says to his dog, are you going to fight, or should I? And Zhao Qing moves away from that formation. And seeing him move away, the other man starts laughing, and he says, there's no use running away. My lightning formation is difficult even for them foundation establishment cultivators to withstand. And the first man is laughing and saying, now the plum blossom deer will be saved, and its cultivation might even improve. The elder might even prize us for this and greatly reward us. But Zhao Qing tells both of them, these magical attacks are really annoying. And Zhao Qing says to his dog Daqiang, I leave it to you. And his dog is ready to fight. And he moves forward to directly attack the other man. And breaks his knife in a single attack, and attacks him with his claws, due to which the man falls down. And that man is saying, can this dog use a spinning kick? Is this something a normal dog do? And the first man gets scared after seeing the condition of his partner. And he is saying, there's something wrong with this dog. I'll go capture its owner first. My mortal with no cultivation is as easy to crush as an ant. But Zhao Qing gets very angry. And he grabs his dog's tail. And with the help of the dog he attacks the man. Then he throws his dog away. Then he says, how dare you look down on mortal? Let me show you the pain of a physical attack. And we see that the condition of Zhao Qing's dog has become very bad. And he is saying, I may not be human, but you're truly a dog. After a while, the registration site for the four symbols auspicious formation. And those two men are leaving after getting beaten by Zhao Qing. And the first man is saying, finally, we've arrived. And the other man says, I swear if I encounter that brat again, I will make him and his dog pay the price. Then seeing both of them, some people say, where did these beggars come from? Oh, JT's a fellow cultivator from the Moon Watch Pavilion. I thought you were beggars who had suffered a disaster. And all three are from a bright moon mountain villa. And that man's partner says, hey, you have no taste. A fellow cultivator from the Moon Watch Pavilion is surely setting the fashion trend for the cultivators of the Great Zhou Kingdom. Look at the unique dog paw-shaped brooch on their faces. It's so charming, haha. And after listening to his words, both of them get angry. And the first man is saying, we also belong to the Seven Sex Alliance, yet you dare to insult us like that? You are shameless. And the other guy says, damn it, I've already been humiliated once today. Do I have to endure a second humiliation? Just then Lingling comes to that place. And seeing them fighting, she is thinking, what's with this commotion? Then the bald man attacks both of them. Due to which both of them start falling away. And that bald man is saying, the four symbols auspicious formations ritual isn't a place for a bunch of losers. Go back to your Moonwatch Pavilion and cry to your mommy. Just then Lingling catches a man. And Lingling says to the man, you're going too far. And the man gets surprised after seeing Lingling, then he says, oh my, aren't you, the same girl who was expelled from the mountain villa, a good-for-nothing trash? And hearing this, Lingling gets very angry. Then the man says to Lingling, I thought that after you were kicked out of the villa, you found a place to fend for yourself. I didn't expect to meet him here, what bad luck. And Lingling is remembering her past, then she says, first, I was not expelled from the villa, but left voluntarily. Secondly, I do feel unlucky to meet a scum like you. But the man says, if you were really capable, how could Mingyu Villa not keep you? The villa is so generous that I can't bear to hurt your self-esteem, so I asked you to resign. Don't take yourself seriously. And his companion says, we feel unlucky when we meet you, a loser who only knows how to chew babies. And his other companion laughs and says, look, she's crying again. Ha 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 ha. And seeing all three of them laughing at her, Lingling is getting very angry. And she is speaking, don't go too far. But then there is an announcement, dear fellow Taoists. Please note that the registration time for the Four Elephants reformation ceremony is only half an hour away. Anyone who wants to register, please hurry up. Then the first man says, Heroine. Thank you for standing up for our brothers, but the ceremony is about to begin, and business is more important. And Lingling says, I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for myself. But you are right, business is more important. And Lingling is leaving. Then the man is saying to Lingling, you, a useless spirit who has been expelled from the sect and has no family or sect, what qualifications do you have to participate in the ceremony of the Four Elephants reformation? But Lingling does not pay much attention to what they say, and she keeps saying, I'm afraid I'll be kicked out if I go. I have learned a lot from Feng Gu, so I don't need to worry about this unlucky thing like you. And those people are getting angry, and they are saying, you ungrateful animal. And the bulb man says, the wind rises. The valley? Never heard of it, where did it come from? And Zhao Chung is secretly watching all those things, and he is saying, which chair corner? Akira's pheasant sect? Now anyone can participate in the activities of the Control Council? And his dog gets very angry, and he says, fuck him? Then they shout to Lingling and say, the pheasant sect plus the waste spiritual root. It's true that birds of a feather flock together. And as soon as Lingling hears this, she becomes very angry. And those people are laughing and saying further, that's right, what kind of good place can a sect be that can take in this trash? The Valley of the Wind is probably a gathering place for garbage. Haha, then Lingling directly attacks the man. And with just one punch from Lingling, the man falls a long way. And Lingling says, you have humiliated me many times and deserve a beating. And Lingling was beating those people very badly. And she is saying, humiliation rises in the Valley of the Wind. It deserves a beating. And Lingling beats all three of them very badly. And seeing this, the first man says, the heroine looks weak, but I didn't expect to be so strong. And the other man whispers in his ear, but why does this kicking technique look so familiar? And that man is feeling very insulted after getting beaten by Lingling. And he is saying, this girl is not a loser. Why are you suddenly so strong? This punch was so fast that I was caught off guard. And Lingling is thinking, I just subconsciously tried the second senior brother's one move. I didn't expect it to be so powerful. The second senior brother is really a genius. And Lingling is saying happily, second senior brother is right. Whoever bullies me, I will fight back. The feeling of fighting back, it's really good. And we see Zhao Cheng's dog, who is very happy to see that Lingling beats those people very easily. And the dog says, well done. And then Lingling feels something, and she is thinking, did I just hear the sound of rhubarb? Then we see those people whose condition has become very bad. And those people are saying, how dare you hit us and seek death? And Lingling says to them, still want to be beaten? But then the man releases his power, then he says, you really pissed me off. Today I will sacrifice you to my soul fire. And Lingling gets a little upset seeing this. But then the announcement comes, dear fellow Taoists, please note that the registration time for the Four Elephants reformation ceremony is about to end. Fellow Taoists who still want to participate, please hurry up and register. If you want to register as soon as possible, you can come directly without waiting in line. And as soon as people hear this, they all run very fast. And seeing this, Lingling gets shocked, and she moves away from that place at the right time. And the crowd starts moving directly towards those people, seeing which the man gets surprised. And a child hits that man with his head, due to which they fly into the air. And the crowd would have crushed that man. And we see the situation of all three of them become even worse. Then Lingling also very quickly places her foot on the man's eggs. And breaks its eggs. And she is saying happily, it's important to register. After some time, Zhao Qing and his dog come out of the bushes. And his dog is saying, at this time, he suddenly said that there is no need to queue up. This control yuan is really as unreliable as Bai Lai. And Zhao Qing is thinking, although Lao Lu is unreliable, he never messes around in serious matters. Something must have happened that forced him to speed up. And he says, I have something to do with Lao Lu. Dachiang, you go and follow Lingling. Then Zhao Qing starts leaving that place. And seeing Zhao Qing going, his dog says, Won't you follow? I think those people in Mingyu Villa are very narrow-minded. They may very well take revenge on their junior sister. So Zhao Qing says the child is getting older, and it's time to wean. And that dog doesn't know what to say, he just keeps watching Zhao Qing going. After this, mysterious fog forest ceremony of the Four Elephants reformation officially begins. The assessment location of this ceremony is the mysterious mist forest. The assessment method adopts a points system. Points will be settled for all participants after the ceremony. The person with the highest points will receive a mysterious grand prize provided by the 6th Office of the Oversight Yuan and a qualification for employment in the Oversight Yuan. After entering the mysterious mist forest, participants will randomly encounter monsters, alien beasts, monsters, etc., and you can get points by killing them. The amount of points is determined by the strength of the monster. The stronger the monster, the more points it will bring. The smaller the counterpoints, the smaller the points. The fairy cards received by participants at the registration office can record points. After the ceremony, the fairy cards will be recycled for point settlement. Please keep them properly. And Lingling is saying while leaving, I must get first place and bring glory to Fingyu. Give yourself some credit too. Then the scene shifts, and we see Zhao Qing going ahead. But there is a monster behind him, who is watching Zhao Qing go. Then that monster directly attacks Zhao Qing. But Zhao Qing defeats the monster with a single punch. And that master goes away and falls. And then a man comes to that place, who gets very scared after seeing that monster. Due to which he becomes unconscious. And seeing this, Zhao Qing is saying, It's so noisy. Are you so frightened that you faint? Squirt, if I hadn't happened to pass by, you might have been eaten by a monster. It was clear that Lao Lu was doing this ritual just to subjugate the demon and seal the demon, and to work for him in vain, but there were quite a lot of stupid people. And then Zhao Qing notices something, and he is thinking, there won't be only one small magic circle like this, there should be others nearby. Then Zhao Qing goes to many such places, and there is a magic circle at all the places. There are many monsters in that place, but Zhao Qing has defeated all of them, and he is thinking, such small formations form the formation eyes, and then the major formation eyes are integrated into 4 major formation gates. The final combination is the complete 4 symbols reformation. This kind of magic circle is intricate and interlocking, so it has a strong suppressive effect. It is generally used to seal monsters, and other terrible things. Bai Lai is so anxious, is there something wrong with the seal? Just then Zhao Qing hears the voices of some people, and they are speaking, I have to find that loser Lingling. Then Zhao Qing starts listening to the 3 of them secretly, and he is thinking, how many people are there in Mingyu Villa? And those people are saying, how dare that trash do this? Pan is waiting for help, when I find her, I must return this shame to her 1,000 times. And the bald man is saying, don't worry, senior brother. On the way here, I heard the deacon from the 6th Office of the Overwatch Council mention that there is a swamp in the center of the mysterious fog forest. That's where the evil spirit is strongest. There are many big and difficult monsters dormant in this place. Even if we are not her opponent, the big demon over there is enough to deal with her. And his companion says, Senior brother, this is a good way to divert trouble to the east. Then the man says, then why are you still standing there? Hurry to find that trash and lead her to the swamp. And Zhao Qing comes forward, but he stops and he says, Lingling. She has a powerful person following her, so there's no need to worry. The most urgent task is to investigate this circle again. But someone is secretly watching Zhao Qing, and Zhao Qing also notices this. And he says, who is it? Then the man comes forward and says, Cluck, sacrifice, great sacrificial ceremony, great king. I will dedicate our lives to you, as long as you get what you want. And seeing that man, Zhao Qing says, huh? Dude, are you okay? But from the looks of it, it seems that the man is about to stab himself. And he is saying, blessings for the birth of the king. Zhao Qing is thinking, looking at that man, no, he is under a spell. And Zhao Qing directly punches the guy in the face, and he says, "The prodigal son's comeback punch." And the man falls down. And Zhao Qing is saying, "I have sealed your meridians, have a good sleep. But your state is not like the influence of ordinary magic. Is it a demon?" And then a pigeon comes flying near Zhao Qing, and it has brought a message for Zhao Qing, seeing which Zhao Qing says, "Lao Ba's reply?" And Zhao Qing takes that message from the pigeon, and looking at that letter he is saying, "I would like to see what kind of medicine is sold in Lao Lu Hulu." And as soon as Zhao Qing reads that letter, he becomes very surprised. And he starts running very fast, and he burns that letter. Then we see Lingling, who is fighting with monsters, and she is thinking, after collecting this one, I should be able to enter the top 5. Second senior brother, I will not let you and Qifeng go down. But then Talisman passes by Lingling, seeing whom Lingling gets surprised. And because of that talisman the monster is killed. Seeing this, Lingling becomes very angry, and she says, "Who did this?" So those 3 people come in front of him, and they are saying, "Trash is trash, it's so hard to kill a little demon." And the bald man is saying, "Even if you want to come out on top, it's really a dream." And Lingling gets very angry after listening to his words. Then she is seen taking out the sword given by Feng Qiyu. And she is saying, "A mouthful of rubbish, what else can you do besides talking about it?" And after feeling the power of that sword, those people become very nervous. And Lingling has taken out that sword. But as soon as they look at that sword carefully, they start laughing a lot. And they are saying, "Look at the sword, ha 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 ha, that's it? It really makes me laugh to death." And Lingling gets very shocked after seeing that sword, and she says, "Ha, why is he a candied hare?" Then the man says, "It is indeed a piece of garbage made by a garbage sect, ha 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 ha," and Lingling directly attacks that man with the sword. And the man goes too far and hits a tree. And Lingling tells them, "What are you laughing? Even if it's a candied hawes, I'll still hit you." And the bald man has attacked Lingling, and he is saying, "Humph, you loser, how dare you look down on us and taste my meteor made of 10,000 years of black iron." But Lingling Taiko cuts the man's weapon into 2 pieces, and seeing this the bald man starts crying profusely and says, "My hammer, what is her sword made of? How come it can cut through anything?" And the third companion of both of them is taking both of them with him. And he is saying, "No matter what it is made of, stick to the plan. Sure, Lingling, you loser, come after us and kill us if you can." And those 3 are running. And Lingling is following them. Then we see Zhao Cheng's dog, who is watching everything from the top of the tree. And he is speaking, "Hey, this kid is quite similar to Xu Xiaoqing's temper. He takes action when it's time to take action, which is really good. It seems there is no need for me to take action." But we see that something comes out of the water, and it is looking at that dog. Then we see those people running away. And Lingling is attacking him. And those people are saying while running, "Senior brother, this useless weapon is so powerful that we can't stop it at all." And the first man is speaking, "Uncles, we agreed to use the big monster here to deal with her, but why is there not a single monster here?" And Lingling is asking them to stop, but then she notices something, that bubbles are rising from the water. And Lingling is surprised to see this. And then there is an attack on Lingling. And Lingling goes away and hits a tree, and blood starts coming out of her mouth. And Lingling is very nervous, because there is a huge frog monster in front of her. And all 3 of them come forward, then they say, "Ha ha, the big demon is here. Trash, you're done." But that monster also attacks those people, due to which they fall far away. And Lingling is trying to get up, and that frog is about to crush Lingling under his paw. And Lingling screams very loudly. But then someone attacks that monster. And Zhao Qing's dog has come to that place. And that dog is releasing a lot of energy from within itself, and is saying, "How dare a toad scream in front of me?" And seeing the dangerous power of that dog, the frog got very scared. And that frog is speaking to that dog, "I'm sorry, boss, I was wrong." And Lingling says, "Daqiang, why are you here?" And the dog says, "Xiaoqing is worried and asked me to follow you." And hearing this, Lingling becomes happy, and she says, "Really? He didn't even come to see me off when I came down the mountain. I thought he didn't care. And we see those three men, who are still secretly keeping an eye on Lingling. And those people are saying, damn it, why is there another monster? And this monster seems to have an unusual relationship with Sure Lingling. And the bald man says, one teacher Lingling is enough, but a big demon. No, I can't beat him. But the first man says, don't panic, look at that. If I read it correctly, it should be a spiritual formation used to suppress big monsters. It is full of spiritual power, and can specifically defeat big monsters. If we can borrow some spiritual power from them to destroy these two big monsters, our Mingyu Villa is the first to eliminate demons this time, and we can also get rid of that trash Sure Lingling. And both of them together start giving their spiritual energy to the first person. And the other man is speaking, senior brother is right, it is the glory of this waste that Master Lingling can become a victim of our righteous path to eliminate demons, and those people have taken out a talisman, and have put all their energy into it. And he has used that talisman on that frog, due to which a lot of energy starts emanating at that place. After this, the scene shifts and we see Bailey. And an officer has come to him, and he is saying, Director. It seemed like a noise coming from the other side of the swamp. Someone must have tampered with the central magic circle. The new director's comics are here to bring. But Bailey says, no need. If the magic circle is not destroyed, how can we eliminate the demon? Everything is under my control. And the dog is very shocked, and he is saying, such a strong aura. No, it's a very strong demonic aura. And we see that a lot of demonic energy is coming out from the circle. And Lingling looks back and she says, it's them who are causing trouble. And the dog says, stop them quickly and carefully. And Wuming is saying, what a profound magic circle. I feel there is endless power in my body. Then Lingling attacks Wuming, and is trying to stop him. But Wuming creates a barrier near himself, due to which Lingling's attack cannot have any effect on Wuming. And Lingling goes away and starts falling, and the dog quickly starts going near Lingling, and Lingling falls directly on the dog, due to which she does not get hurt much. And when the dog sees what is in front of him, he becomes very surprised. Because now demonic energy starts going inside Wuming, due to which Wuming starts possessing. And seeing this, he too gets very surprised. Then Wuming catches hold of his own comrades and starts absorbing the energy from them, and when he absorbs the energy of his teammates, then looks back at Lingling and the dog. His eyes have become purple in color. And he attacks Lingling and the dog. And the dog is running away with Lingling. And Lingling is saying, this evil spirit is too strong. What's happening here? But then someone destroys Wuming's attack. And seeing this, Lingling and the dog become very surprised. Then a chain binds Wuming. And we see that some officers come to that place. And they have tied Wuming with a chain. Then one of the men says, Director. It's under control. Then Bailey comes to that place and says, 6 officers work, idlers retreat, and seeing Bailey the dog says, why is this a scam asterisk things like Lao Lu? And Lingling softly asks the dog, is he the 6th senior brother? Then Bailey says, go, tie him up and escort him back, yes, that's it. Peepa Bone is also worn and Bailey says to the dog, Yo Dachang, long time no see. And the dog says, who wants to see you? And Lingling says to Bailey, 6. Hello, senior brother 6. And Bailey gets close to Lingling and says to her, oh, this is the little junior sister brought by the 2nd senior brother. Sure enough, he has the demeanor of the 2nd senior brother. I heard that the 2nd senior brother took good care of the little junior sister. I guess the 2nd senior brother must have come with me on this trip, right? And Lingling is thinking, why do you keep emphasizing the 2nd senior brother? Then Bailey says, come out of the small town. Now that you are such an adult, stop playing hide and seek. And Lingling says, the 6th senior brother, I came out on my own this time, and my 2nd senior brother was not here. And Bailey says, huh? I have excited him so much, he didn't even come, he only sent Ichang to follow you. And Lingling says, why? But senior brother, it's obviously me you invited. And the dog says, Lao Lu, I advise you to speak up if you have anything to say, Otherwise you may beware of the small town's revenge in the future. And Bailey says, I don't know if I can wait until the day he takes revenge on me? It's a matter of life and death for the family and the country, and this guy doesn't know where he's gone. On the other side, we see Zhao, who is running very fast, and he is saying, Why haven't you arrived yet? I don't know magic and can't even use a flying charm. I'm so angry. If it weren't for that damn old man, I wouldn't have come to this damn place. And then something comes in front of Zhao, and seeing her, Zhao stops. And that bird is very happy. And he says that his dinner has arrived here. But Zhao is saying, How big are you? I'll pluck your hair out later and pay homage to Lao Lu. Then Bailey is telling, in fact, I originally wanted to invite my second senior brother to come to the Four Symbols reformation ceremony. After all, the one sealed here is the Demon King of the southern region. And hearing this, the dog becomes very shocked and says, Damn it, Demon King? And Bailey says, The strength of this thing is comparable to that of the tribulation stage. I'm afraid that even if the 6 agencies mobilize collectively, they won't be able to suppress it. But he didn't reply. I knew he didn't want to come, so I invited the new junior sister to come over because I wanted to use the provoking method to force Xiaoqing to show up. And Ling Ling says, I beg you not, Mao Xing. It turns out that he invited me because of my talent? And Bailey says, But it seems that the excitement has gone too far and he is completely angry. And Ling Ling says, So actually I am just a part of your play? Then the dog says, It's so shameless to even take advantage of a junior sister who has just started. And Bailey says, It's not about taking advantage, it's a special situation. Besides, wouldn't it be good to let the children come out to see me, the world, to work? But even if Xu Xiaoqing doesn't come now, I've already done it and prepared with both hands. The newly born Demon King is weak, so he will definitely find someone to possess him, draining the other person's spiritual energy as a supply to repair his body. But the possessed person will not inherit the Demon King's strength. As long as I take this opportunity to control the Demon King's possessed host, it is equivalent to locking the Demon King in a container, and I can easily defeat him. These talismans can suppress the Demon King's demonic energy. After the Demon King is dealt with, they will not have any impact on this boy. So before the ceremony started, I ordered someone to tell several guys who were looking for information about the location of the swamp, and I was waiting for the person with evil intentions to act as a container. If I can't defeat the Demon King, can I still defeat these rookies? And the dog says, You are such a loser. And Ling Ling says, Senior Brother 6 is so calculating. And Bailey says, This is called learning strategies. But then some movement starts happening at that place. And many stones start flying, and Ling Ling is saying, Wow! What happened again? And the dog says, Damn it! What's the situation? And we see a very big hand, seeing which they all get very shocked, and it happens to be Wuming, who has transformed into a very dangerous demon. And there he is saying, Die for me! And Bailey gets very angry after seeing the Demon King, and he says to the officer, A bunch of trash. This can't be stopped. And the officer says, Director, you said it lightly. This is the Demon King. Then the Demon King attacks the ground with his punch, due to which a huge explosion occurs at that place. And to avoid that attack, Bailey creates a barrier. And he is saying, Just now, the Demon King separated a demon's soul and pretended to possess it to attract our attention. He waited until his body was repaired before he was born. Gee, I don't know if I can catch up with this month's medical insurance reimbursement. However, for a monster king so big, it should be quite spectacular to explode into fireworks, right? And when the Demon King sees Bailey, he says, Immortal cultivator? That's fine, I'll use you to nourish the king's demon soul. And the Demon King has attacked Bailey, and Bailey is using his power to stop the Demon King's attack, and he is saying, Sorry, Cho declined. And Bailey has stopped the attack of the Demon King, and the Demon King is saying to Bailey, Ha ha ha, this attack of yours is nothing to me. Itching is meaningless. And Bailey says, Silly? What age is it? Who doesn't have a 2-stage attack mode? And we see that something golden-colored is coming out from the ground, seeing which even the Demon King gets very surprised. And Bai Lei makes a gesture with his finger, due to which a huge explosion occurs near the Demon King. Then we see that the Demon King's body is burnt due to that explosion. And he gets hurt very badly. And seeing this, Ling Ling becomes very happy and she says, "Did you win?" And the dog says, "You kid has a lot of trouble." But Bai Lei says, "I am only in the nascent soul stage and not Shu Xiaoqing. Do you think it is possible for me to kill the Demon King in the tribulation stage alone? What are you doing standing there? Run away." And we see that the Demon King is not affected by Bai Lei's attack, rather he has become very angry. And he moves his hand to catch Bai Lei. And he has caught Bai Lei with his hands. And blood is coming out of Wuming's mouth. And seeing Wuming's condition, Ling Ling and the dog get very scared, and both of them start coming back to save Bai Lei. But Bai Lei says to both of them, "Wait, don't come here." Then the Demon King moves his hand and catches Ling Ling and the dog. And the Demon King is speaking. Xiao Xiao Yuanying is somewhat self-aware. And Ling Ling says, Is this another Demon King?" And Bai Lei says, "I'm afraid this is its true appearance. Is now out of control." Then the Demon King says, "My body was damaged when I was sealed 10,000 years ago. Over the past 10,000 years, I have gathered my strength and repaired the origin of the demon soul. When the seal was broken, he abandoned that empty shell and transformed into a more powerful form. Now dedicate all your spiritual energy to this king." And after hearing the words of the Demon King, they all get very scared and start screaming. Also the Demon King starts absorbing their energy. And Wuming, seeing his death so close, says, "My arrogant and extravagant life is not going to end like this." And then a lot of energy starts coming out from inside Ling Ling, seeing which the Demon King gets very surprised. And the Demon King throws that energy away. And we see that because of him all three of them are saved. And Ling Ling is coughing. Then Ling Ling says, "Ahem, sixth brother, was it you who blocked the attack just now?" And Bai Lei is thinking, "Is that water polo my junior sister's hidden ability?" And then Ling Ling says fearfully, "Ah, sixth senior brother, look." And we see that he has a lot of energy balls. And the Demon King is speaking. What's next? Yes, and the Demon King is about to blast that energy ball, when the Demon King's energy ball gets attacked by a feather, seeing which Ling Ling and Bai Lei are surprised. And because of those feathers all the attacks get destroyed. And the Demon King gets very shocked. What just happened? And we see that someone comes to that place, and seeing whom, Bai Lei says, "You are finally here, I know you still care about me." And Ling Ling becomes happy and she says, "Second senior brother." And we see that Zhao Qing has come here flying holding the leg of a big bird. And Zhao Qing is saying, "Well, it's quite useful." But then the Demon King attacks Zhao Qing and says, "Whoever stands in my way is seeking death." But Zhao Qing destroys the Demon King's attack very easily, seeing which the Demon King gets scared. And Zhao Qing is about to punch the Demon King. And Zhao Qing starts gathering energy in his punch, and makes a very dangerous attack on the Demon King. And Zhao Qing's punch is very dangerous, due to which the Demon King sinks into the ground. And Zhao Qing comes down very easily. And looking at the Demon King, Zhao Qing says, "It's a pity, if you were a rabbit, I might be gentler. You're doing two things wrong. First, don't touch Feng Gu's only junior sister. Second, Bai Lei can only be beaten to death by me." Then Zhao Qing turns back. And Ling Ling is thinking, "It turns out that the second senior brother has been following me behind my back, protecting me silently." And Bai Lei is saying smilingly, "I knew that with the cute little junior sister here, there was no way the second child wouldn't come." Then Zhao Qing extends his hand like Bai Lei, seeing which Bai Lei gets surprised. And he says to Zhao Qing, "Damn, you mean the one that recasts the spiritual roots? I was in a hurry when I went out and forgot to bring it." And Ling Ling is thinking, "Well, it turns out it wasn't because of me." And then the Demon King says, "You deal with this Demon King first, and I will take you back to the Overwatch Council to get it later." And we see, the Demon King rises again. And Zhao Qing starts leaving that place, and he is saying, "Oh, I'll come back later." But Bai Lei is very scared. And he is saying to Zhao Qing, "Come on, brother, you know the general situation best, And the Demon King comes up and he says, "You kid, how dare you sneak up on me while I'm not paying attention? I'm going to cut you all into pieces." And Bai Lei is saying to Zhao Chen, "Wow, go. You have to deal with whatever you mess with, my second brother." And Ling Ling is again nervous after seeing the Demon King, and she is saying, "Brothers, it's here again." And the Demon King attacks again, and we see that Bai Lei agrees to Zhao Cheng's advice to save his life. And he is saying to Zhao Chen, "The recipe is here." And on hearing this, a smile appears on Zhao Cheng's face. And Zhao Cheng takes that recipe from Bai Lei and is looking at that recipe. And the Demon King is about to attack Zhao Cheng, and he is saying, "This Demon King also wants you to have a taste of being attacked from behind." But Zhao Cheng is reading that recipe and saying, "Gathering qi. Refining bones?" Also, Zhao Cheng would have stopped the Demon King's attack very easily. And with just one touch of Zhao Cheng, the Demon King falls far away. And the Demon King is very surprised. And we see that Ling Ling is very shocked. And she is shouting and saying, The second senior brother knocked the Demon King away with one punch?" And Bai Lei says smilingly, "It's just a basic exercise, you have to get used to it." And the Demon King stands again. And the Demon King is feeling very angry right now. And he is saying, "There is no spiritual power fluctuation in your body, but you can hurt me again and again. It seems that you are hiding your cultivation. I underestimate you." But Zhao Cheng is not making any difference to the Demon King's words. And Zhao Cheng has kept that recipe with himself. Then Zhao Cheng says to the Demon King, "Let's have a fight, so much nonsense." And the Demon King is using some kind of technique, and he's saying, For a practitioner with such a high level of cultivation, the spiritual energy in his body is just for my use." And the Demon King has created a barrier around Zhao Cheng. But it doesn't make any difference to Zhao Cheng. And he is saying, "Can I be a little creative in fighting, but my spiritual power will be sealed at every turn. It's boring." And the Demon King says, "Ignorance, this is 1,000-year spirit-devouring array. It will not only seal your spiritual power, it will even devour your spiritual power, and make you miserable." And the Demon King attacks Zhao Cheng. But then purple-colored thunder falls from the sky, seeing which the dog is saying, "Aha, it's raining, Ansho Nong." And Ling Ling is saying, "Sixth senior brother, do we really not need to go up and help?" But Bai Lei says, "The Demon King wanted to extract spiritual power, but Xu Xiaocheng and the Demon King were laughing and saying, 'Let me see what you do now. All your spiritual power will become my nourishment and help me to conquer the 9 provinces.'" But we see that Zhao Cheng is pulling the Demon King towards himself, and the Demon King is saying, "Why am I here? Wrong, have you broken through my 1,000-year spirit-devouring formation?" And Zhao Cheng prepares his punch again, and says to the Demon King, "I was worried about not being able to get close to you just now, but you took the initiative to come to my door." And after listening to Zhao Cheng's words, the Demon King is saying, "No. Why don't you have any spiritual energy fluctuations on your body? You are actually an ordinary person." And as soon as the Demon King says this, Zhao Cheng gives a strong punch to the Demon King's stomach, and throws the Demon King on the ground again. And seeing the power of Demon King Zhao Cheng, he is saying, "How could this mortal have such strength?" And Zhao Cheng again moves forward to attack the Demon King. And seeing Demon King Zhao Cheng coming towards him, he is saying, "Damn it, it must be because my strength has not yet been restored that I am so humiliated. I'd better find a cave to recharge my batteries first, and then wait until I come back, and get saved from the attack of Demon King Zhao Cheng." And he turns away, and he's saying, "You damn mortal, I will come again in the future looking for you." Then Zhao Cheng looks at his dog, and holds his dog's tail. And his dog is saying to Zhao Cheng, "Are you coming again? Your skills." And Zhao Cheng turns his dog around and throws it on the Demon King, and he says, "The first form of the Wind Rising Valley secret technique." And Zhao Cheng throws the dog towards the Demon King with great power. And that dog goes directly and hits the Demon King, due to which the dog comes out tearing the Demon King's chest. And while killing the Demon King, he is saying, "Has your true soul been shattered? This is impossible." This king was actually defeated by Immortal. This king is not willing to give in. Then the demon king is killed. And Zhao Cheng's dog falls on the ground. And Zhao Cheng grabs the demon core and says, "History will remember you." Then Zhao Cheng is about to break the demon core, and he is saying, "Look down on mortals. I'll crush you now." But Bai Lei stops Zhao Cheng and says, "Stop. This inner elixir must be kept." And Zhao Cheng says, "What do I keep it for?" Then Bai Lei says, "If you look at the recipe, you will understand that the Demon King's inner elixir is an important material. It will be mailed soon. Your spiritual roots, it's really hopeless." And Zhao Cheng says, "If you want to reshape your spiritual roots, you must first gather energy, then refine your bones, then shape your soul, and finally cast your spirit. First, you need to refine the Qi-gathering pill with the Demon King's inner elixir, Ningshengquan, 7-leaf Ganoderma lucidum and dragon claw flower. Then find a place with the strongest spiritual energy, and take the Qi-gathering pill to gather energy and spirit, so that the spiritual energy in the body is abundant. Only with spiritual energy can you change your muscles and bones. Therefore, you need to use Tianao Sex, bone-shaping sun technique, to change your own muscles and bones, so that you can accept the forging of the soul-shaping furnace, bone-shattering sun technique. Produced by Tian Bao Zong, it must be a high-quality product. The soul-shaping furnace can transform the practitioner's soul from the inside out, allowing his body to give birth to spiritual roots, making the impossible possible. Once all the foundations are in place, you can use the ultimate artifact, Tai Bai Ruler, to cast spiritual roots for practitioners and reach the pinnacle. Makes sense? And Bai Lei says, "Yes, this is the recipe that I worked hard to get through mountains and rivers. Don't be too moved. You know, our brothers are brothers, and our love is stronger than gold." Then Zhao Cheng kept that recipe with himself and said to Bai Lei, "So I said you can only be beaten to death by me." And Bai Lei says, "That's right," but Zhao Cheng starts beating Bai Lei. And Bai Lei is saying to Zhao Cheng, "Don't fight. At least don't slap me in the face." The small town of magic. I times your uncle, and seeing both of them fighting, Ling Ling says, "The sixth senior brother is so miserable." And the dog says, "Really?" And Ling Ling says, "But he deserves it." And the dog says, "Really?" After this, Bai Lei would have brought all three of them to his house. And a beautiful lady is sitting next to Bai Lei, who is a little surprised to see Bai Lei's condition. Then Bai Lei says, "In short, over the years, Master and Senior brothers have tried to create a spiritual root directly for you. But it fails every time because the method is wrong." And Zhao Cheng says, "As long as sufficient preparations are done, creating a new spiritual root should be foolproof." "Right. What do you mean, keep it safe?" Then Bai Lei says, "This prescription is hidden in the top-secret library of the Overwatch Council. You don't know how hard I worked to steal it and borrow it. It's absolutely true." And Zhao Cheng says, "Are you so kind?" So Bai Lei says, "How can Zhou Yuanxianyi judge the heart of a gentleman with the heart of a villain when he enters the family? Everyone knows that your greatest wish is to reshape your spiritual roots and cultivate immortality. The origin of my second senior brother is the origin of me. The wishes of everyone in the Valley of the Wind, and even the wishes of the Overwatch Council, and this carries the Master's sincere teachings to you." And Zhao Cheng stops and says, Stop reading it." Then Bai Lei says, "I have researched all the medicinal materials, magic tools, etc. You need to record them all in the book. I'll set off in 2 days to help you find all those things." And seeing that book, Zhao Cheng says, "How can I be sure that you are really helping me and not using me as a guinea pig? Isn't your sixth office very busy?" "Don't bother, I'll look for it myself." Then Zhao Cheng stands up and starts leaving this place. And he is saying, in the entire Great Zhou Kingdom, only the Wanyu Pavilion of the Seven Sex Alliance has dragon claw flowers. And hearing this, Ling Ling says, "Wanyu Pavilion? Sounds a bit familiar." Then Bai Lei says to Zhao Cheng, "Oh, you must not provoke the Seven Sex Alliance. These 7 major sects are not only the strongest alliance for cultivating immortals in the Great Zhou Kingdom, but also command and call upon all the sects of cultivating immortals throughout the Great Zhou dynasty. Furthermore, Each of them possesses a forbidden magic weapon whose strength is so unpredictable that even our overseas control Yuan cannot afford to offend him easily, and Zhaoqing says, "You say it's too late. I've already provoked them." Then Zhaoqing leaves this place. And Bai Lei says to the lady sitting near him, "I'm a good boy finally sent away." And the lady says, "Director, have you lied again?" And Bai Lei says smilingly, "What does it mean? It's just the last 7 games. The conflict between them is getting worse and worse, and the 6th office is too busy to spare its manpower. I see that the second brother is quite free, so I want to use his hand to knock on the 7-sex alliance." Then as soon as Bai Lei looks back, he sees that Ling Ling is in front of him. And Bai Lei gets very nervous after seeing Ling Ling, and Ling Ling has come to take the sword. And she picks up the sword, then she says, "I came back to get something." Well, I didn't hear anything. Then Ling Ling starts leaving this place, and Bai Lei is saying to Ling Ling, "No, please listen to my explanation. The recipe I gave Xu Xiaoqing is straight. I don't know where those materials are." And Ling Ling says to Bai Lei, "Don't worry, 6th senior brother, I'm not the kind of person who likes to gossip behind your back. What's more, the 6th senior brother has sacrificed his life to save us before, so I will keep this secret for you." And Bai Lei becomes happy after listening to Ling Ling's words, and he is thinking, what kind of considerate little cotton-padded jacket is this? It's better to be a junior sister. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have introduced Lao Chi here. I should have replaced him with a cute little girl. Then Ling Ling says, "But if Brother 6 refuses to change his nature, then I don't know when I might accidentally say it." Bai Lei gets shocked after hearing such words of Ling Ling, and he is thinking, crooked. This child was completely screwed up by Xu Xiaoqing. Xu Xiaoqing, you have committed a heinous crime. After this the scene shifts and we see Wanyu Pavilion. And Zhaoqing is saying, "It's arrived. Ahead is the flower field of Wanyu Pavilion." It was rare that Lao Lu was reliable, and he was really quick and accurate in pointing out the path. But we see that Ling Ling and the dog are very tired. And the dog said to Zhaoqing, "I said breathe and breathe, we gave those 2 idiots from Wanyu Pavilion a good beating before. What if they don't want to give us anything?" And Zhaoqing says, "There is a whole field of dragon claw flowers in Wanyu Pavilion. If they are willing to take it from me, they will leave. If they don't give it to me, I probably won't be discovered if I pick one secretly." Then Ling Ling says, "But 2nd senior brother, there must be many experts taking care of a place like this, right?" But Zhaoqing says, "When soldiers come, they will be blocked by water and covered by soil. This is the so-called art of war. Then when they look ahead, it is written on the board, the original Grey Claw flower field. And as soon as both of them see that place, they get very shocked. And Zhaoqing is shouting and saying, 'Where are my flowers? I am such a big piece of dragon claw flower.' Lie. The next day, Wanyu Pavilion. We see a man sitting and drinking tea, and he is saying, 'Family laws cannot be changed.' And this is the man, Song Nuanyuan, the eldest son of Song Dynasty Wanyu Pavilion. Then Nuanyuan further says, 'Brother, you still have to behave according to the rules today.' And we see another man, and this is Song Shufu, the 2nd son of the Song family Wanyu Pavilion. And he says, 'Brother, it's not like you don't know what's going on now. Rules are dead, right? So are people?' And Nuanyuan says, 'Brother, as the head of the family, I have to think about you.' And then Zhaoqing breaks the door and comes inside. And due to the sound of the door breaking, the teacup falls from Nuanyuan's hand, and it breaks. And Nuanyuan is saying, 'Who is it?' But Jufu is shocked that his teacup is broken. And he is saying, 'The teacup I bought for 3 million yuan. And we see that Bai Lei has dark circles under his eyes. This means he has been up all night. And he is saying, 'Hand over the dragon claw flower to me.' And Jufu is very shocked, and he is saying, 'Can't you see such a huge piece of debris? The dragon claw flowers were burnt by my father. My cup, ah.' And Zhaoqing is saying to Nuanyuan, 'Don't you have it in your hands? What about seeds? Plant it for me immediately.' And Jufu says, 'Only my dad can grow dragon claw flowers. We haven't learned yet what a sin, 3 million yuan stones.' And as soon as Zhaoqing hears this, he starts having a heart attack and blood also starts coming out of his mouth. And Ling Ling catches Zhao Qing and says to him, "Second senior brother, hold on." Then Nguyen asks Zhao Qing, "No, who are you? How dare you break into my Wanyu pavilion? Come on, throw them out." And as soon as Nguyen says this, many people start moving towards Zhao Qing. And Zhao Qing says to them, "I am the beloved disciple of your father's best friend, acting master Xu Xiaoqing. Valley of the Wind, it was my master who specially asked me to come to visit my father, but you want to kick me out. Is this the way you treat guests at Wanyu Pavilion?" And Ling Ling is thinking, when did the second senior brother become the head of the clan? And the dog is thinking, you are almost catching up with the sixth child, and you are telling lies as soon as you open your mouth. Then Nguyen says, "Dad's best friend? Valley of the Wind? How come I've never heard of it? Who is your master? Uncle Zhang, Uncle Lu, or Uncle Li?" And Zhao Qing says, "That's right, my master's last name is Li. You all know how he behaves as an old man. Well, it's just like that anyway, so it's normal that you haven't heard of me." And Nguyen says, "It is true that Uncle Li talks little and rarely mentions his own affairs. I'm offended. Since you are Uncle Li's apprentice, you are indeed an honored guest. Please take a seat." But Zhao Qing says, "Your Majesty, that's not necessary. My master is in urgent need of dragon's claw flowers for something. Please take me to meet with your father as soon as possible and plant dragon's claw flowers again." And after listening to his words, Ling Ling says, "Just got over it. Is this okay?" Then the dog says, "We Chifingu are really good at deception and abduction." And Nguyen says, "Well, my father is seriously ill and may not be able to see guests." Then Jufu takes out the talisman and says, "Since you are the beloved disciple of my father's good friend, there is no harm in meeting you, but I have to inform the inner sect elders first." And Jufu starts using the talisman. And seeing this, Zhao Qing is thinking, so smooth? After some time, Nguyen is taking Zhao Qing to meet his father. And he is saying, "After my father became insane and burnt the flower field, I've been sick for a while, and it's gotten worse in the past 2 days. I'm in a coma more often than I'm awake." And Zhao Qing says, "It's okay, just remember how to plant flowers." And as they go ahead, they see that 2 people in front have tied a lady from behind. And a man is saying to that lady, "You little bitch, you're definitely not doing anything good by being sneaky." Then Nguyen says to them, "What are you doing so noisy?" And the man tells Nguyen, "Forgive me, young pavilion master, but it's all because of this little bitch who rushed into the sky tower and broke the ancestral rules." But the lady cries and says to Nguyen, "Young pavilion master, I didn't mean it, I really just went in accidentally, please forgive me." But Jufu says, "Oh, take it to the animal farm and feed it to the wolves." And on hearing this, the lady gets very scared. Then the man in front says, "Please make your decision, young pavilion master." Then Nguyen says, "Note, times have changed now. It's too rotten to drag people away to feed the wolves if you disagree with them." And Jufu says, "Didn't the eldest brother just keep saying that we should act according to the rules? Why did you suddenly change your mind?" And Ling Ling tells them, "What rule is more important than a human life?" But Jufu says, "Chongxiao Tower strictly prohibits people outside the Song family's bloodline from entering, and those who disobey the order will die. This is a rule that has been in place since the founding of Wanyu Pavilion, without exception." Then Zhao Qing says, "Oh? So where is Chongxiao Tower that is so strict?" And Jufu says, "Your distinguished guest may not know that Chongxiao Tower is the geomantic treasure of our Song family. It is someone who steps on the roof on a full moon night, and can gather the power of the moonlight to gather energy and practice. This is also the reason why our Wanyu Pavilion is named Wanyu, because this is a rare and pure energy that perfectly matches the inner strength of this pavilion. Outsiders are never allowed to enter Chongxiao Tower. More importantly," then Nguyen says, "Today is the coming-of-age ceremony for injecting talismans. One of the rituals of the coming-of-age ceremony is to go to Chongxiao Tower to practice. Now that everything is ready, if someone breaks into Chongxiao Tower and destroys the ceremony, he will not be lenient." And Ling Ling is picking up that lady, and she is saying, "Second senior brother, she is so pitiful." And Zhao Qing says, you see, my master and your father are also old friends, can you? And Yuanyuan says, well, let's make an exception for the sake of Qi Fenggu, and I won't pursue it this time. After some time, we see an old man, and he is Yuanyuan's father. And Yuanyuan is speaking to his father, Dad, Uncle Li's apprentice is here to see you. And seeing the condition of the old man, Zhao Qing is thinking, no, he seems to be really dying. And Yuanyuan is saying, sorry, my father is really ill and can't even host the coming-of-age ceremony. And Zhao Qing is thinking, no, you have to do it in person to check the pulse. And Yuanyuan is telling, logically speaking, I should wait until you have completely recovered before personally hosting the coming-of-age ceremony. But now I can no longer delay my son's unfilial piety, so I have to salute the talisman on your behalf. And Ling Ling is thinking, looking at Jifu, why does he have this expression? And Zhao Qing becomes very emotional after listening to Yuanyuan's words, due to which he starts crying. And he reaches out his hand to check the old man's penis, and he's saying, the old pavilion master will definitely get better as soon as possible. My master is still waiting for you to have a drink with me. And Zhao Qing is thinking, looks completely hopeless. But then Yuanyuan holds Zhao Qing's hand and says, Brother Shu, you have also seen the current situation of my father. There is really nothing we can do about the dragon claw flower. Then Zhao Qing starts staring at Yuanyuan. Then he says, it's okay, it's just that it's not easy for me to come here. Why don't you just let me stay here for a few days and treat it as a trip to relax? Then Yuanyuan says, why don't I refuse to entertain the distinguished guests? Brother Shu, feel free to stay. And Zhao Qing says, thank you so much, Brother Wenwen. After this, Zhao Qing is leaving that place, and Ling Ling says to Zhao Qing, second senior brother, why do you still stay in Wanyu Pavilion when the dragonclaw flowers are gone? And hearing this, Zhao Qing says, what if they have something to hide? And didn't they just say that the Sky Tower can gather energy? Let's explore the Sky Tower tonight. Next, we see a night scene. And Ling Ling is talking to Zhao Qing, second senior brother, isn't it a good idea to break into other people's homes? And Zhao Qing says, this is not a sneak attack, but an act of integrity. Verify for yourself whether the Sky Tower is really that magical. And the dog says, you keep making things up, and then someone says, found it. Then the lady says, brother, it's them. And the other man says, damn it, why you? And the first man says, are you the benefactor who just saved my old sister? And Zhao Qing is asking the dog, who is coming? And the dog says, can't remember. But Ling Ling recognizes the lady and says, ah, what a coincidence, the two of them were at the four-elephant reformation ceremony. But the first man moves forward to attack Zhao Qing and he is saying, you arrogant maniac, how dare you forget us brothers? But Zhao Qing easily punches the first man away. And he goes away and falls. Then he says angrily to Zhao Qing, do you remember? And Zhao Qing is saying smilingly, well, I think about it, I've beaten him before, it feels quite familiar. And Ling Ling is saying to that man, do you remember that people rely on the feel of their hands? Then the lady stands up to the first man and says, brother, are you okay? And that man is saying, it awakened his memory, and the pain in his face was nothing. And the second man bows his head to the first man, then he says to Zhao Qing, sorry, we were impulsive. My name is Mei Duixiang, and he is Mei Yiqian. You saved our little sister Mei Xiang. We just want to thank you in person. And Zhao Qing says, do all of you in Wanyu Pavilion have to use homophones in their names? If you want to thank her, go to her. This girl is the one who saved her because of her overflowing Holy Mother heart. It has nothing to do with me. If it weren't for looking for the dragonclaw flower, I wouldn't be too lazy to meddle in other people's business. And the first man says, are you here to find dragonclaw flower too? Then I advise you not to waste your efforts. The flower field has been burnt by the old pavilion master. There is really not a single flower left. And Zhao Qing says, also? Anyone else besides me? Then the other man says, yes, someone came to ask about it when the flower fields were first burned, and then he asked to track down the Nan man. And Zhao Qing says, what Nan man? And the first man says, a group of servants came to the pavilion earlier. One of them was a gloomy man with a Nan Man tattoo on his face. And I heard that it was very suspicious that the Nan Man disappeared after the old pavilion master fell ill. That's why people who have been here before went to track him down. And after listening to him, Zhaoqing says the people of the Nanyu kingdom are good at controlling poisons, refining poisons, and making medicines, and they have a very good relationship with the demon tribe. If he drove the old pavilion master insane, it seemed reasonable. And Ling Ling is saying, has One Yu Pavilion ever offended the South Vietnam kingdom? Then the first man says, I think they are probably eyeing my Wang Yu Pavilion's secret technique. Although I have never been to the Sky Tower, I heard. Then suddenly Shifu comes to that place, seeing whom the first man gets very scared. And Shifu is saying, what are you guys saying? And the first man says in fear, wow, go, second young master. And Jufu says, I spared your life just now, and now you are chewing the tongue of the old pavilion master with an outsider? Don't want to live anymore? And the other man says, second young master, please calm down, we are not. And Zhaoqing laughingly says to Jufu, ahem. What a coincidence, second young master, I was the one asking them to find out how to enter the Sky Tower, and you happen to be more familiar with them, why don't you come and show me the way? And at the same time he is thinking, one is the young pavilion master, and the other is just the second young master. Interesting. And after listening to Zhaoqing, Shifu gets angry and says, entering the Sky Tower? You are so brave. But Zhaoqing is not bothered by his words and says, have you forgotten what we said today? People who are not part of the Song family are prohibited from entering, and any offenders will be shot, right? But isn't there an exception now? She made an exception, so why can't I? And on hearing this, Shifu gets ready to attack Zhaoqing and says, presumptuous, I won't treat Song Nanyuan as a distinguished guest. I never heard my father say anything about Lao Li. You sneaked into the Wang Yu Pavilion and asked for dragonclaw flowers. You have no good intentions at all. And Jufu attacks Zhaoqing, but Zhaoqing stops his attack very easily. And Jufu gets very surprised after seeing this, then he steps back, then he says, pick it up with your bare hands? How can this be? And Zhaoqing grabs Jufu's hand and throws it away. Then he says, it's late at night, let's take a nap. And Jufu goes far and hits the wall, and his condition becomes very bad. And he becomes unconscious. And seeing this, both of them become very surprised. And the other man is speaking, wow, that's the second young master. He actually beat him when he asked, why don't we call someone? It can also make a contribution. And the first man says but he is too strong, we can't afford to offend him. Otherwise, forget it. And when she sees the power of Lady Zhaoqing, she starts going crazy for Zhaoqing. And she is saying, so domineering. And Zhaoqing is saying, let's go and explore the Sky Tower at night. Then Ling Ling says, but senior brother, you just beat up the second young master of Wang Yu Pavilion. Wang Yu Pavilion will not let us go easily. And Zhaoqing says, one is the young pavilion master, and the other is just the second young master. The relationship between these two brothers is not that good. Maybe Song Wen'an would like to thank us for helping educate his younger brother. When setting a fire, it's a good time to move. Not a small town, etc. And Zhaoqing and Ling Ling are going while hiding, and Zhaoqing is saying, dog narrator, don't make the keyword blocking so weird, we've gone from full age to our 18 in one go. And Ling Ling is saying, second senior brother, what are you talking about? Then Zhaoqing says there's still half an hour before Song Shufu's coming-of-age ceremony begins, so let's make a quick decision. And Ling Ling says, haven't the people at Wang Yu Pavilion noticed that their second young master was beaten unconscious? There are no guards here. Wow, there's no one here either. Then the dog says this moon seems to have awakened some of the original impulses of this deity, such as the Tengu eating the moon, not howling at the moon wolf. And Ling Ling is saying, the scenery is so beautiful. And Zhaoqing joins both his hands, and a sign is formed. Then he is saying, gathering chi, but the dog says to him, why don't you take a break? But Zhaoqing starts mumbling, and he is saying, gather your energy, very quietly, or I'll blast you, loudly, gather your energy, gather your energy, gather your energy. And then Ling Ling hears some sound, and as soon as she looks ahead, she gets very scared because there is someone in front of her. And she is saying with fear, "Second senior brother." There's someone's hand behind that. And then someone attacks them from behind. But Zhao Qing sees the attack at the right time. And he destroys that attack. And we see that the old man is in that place, who is dead. Perhaps? And seeing him, all three of them become very surprised.